You are that bridge, you are that transformation. So you need to shift the way they think. If you've ever heard people call it a light bulb moment, light bulb posts, that sort of, that shift in thinking. Now then, the self-identifying content. You know, you could list 5 reasons you're stuck in something, depending on what your business is. And they read some of those. It's going to self-identify as, oh my God, that's me again. Like, you know, that's, wow. I feel seen, you've really thought about this is where I am. So what sort of content can you create for that self-identifying, really again showing that you've seen them. And education, now then, educational content has been getting a bit of a bad rep. Has anyone, you're nodding your head, do you agree?
Yeah, I do. Every video I do is educational and it's on a down.
It's still important, do not think it's not. Keep it. It just doesn't need to be 80% of our content. It probably needs to be 20%. Because actually people want to get value. They're not here for all the freebies. They want to walk away having learned something from you, or whether it be, that's a pivot and a shift I can make today. Oh my God, if she's just giving me that for free, what is her paid stuff like? So the educational side is valid, absolutely, because we want our audience to know what we do. And the reason I say it's been getting a bit of a bad rep, it's because usually it's the how-to content of like how to get X results. Quite hard to do in a small post, or, you know, rather being a mini course or something, but you can still educate them with 3 tips, 5 ways, and they can be short and sharp and sweet. So actually it is still a piece of good content to have, and it actually takes your ideal client off in a nice circle, and you get them in your basically a messaging ecosystem. They will land in that little bubble for one of 4 reasons. Whether it's a connection piece where you've told them their story and they see you and they identify with that a little bit and they go, I like this person, I think I like this person, I'm going to step into their little bubble of business for a while and just sort of stalk them. Let's not call it anything else. They do stalk us, right, on LinkedIn, and look at your website, and they might come and see you at an event. Yeah, oh, honestly, they're called lurkers. They don't engage with the content. They might not engage, but they certainly see it. Then you need to shift a belief, so you're then educating them. Actually, you don't need to think, actually, what if you do this, you could get to this result. Oh my gosh, there is another way to think about it. I've never thought about it that way before. They might come in your bubble for that and stick around. Or they see that it's actually a place for them, so they step into that, or they've learned something. So they're going to land, it doesn't work, I don't even know why I'm pressing it, to go in the middle of your little ecosystem. And they will stay there quietly, stalking, just sort of taking it all in for months, years even, until they realise that actually this is the place they want to be. You're coming to take a picture and you come on this and go, hello. I'm very animated and you're going to get a gurning face. You do every single time. And just tell me, I'll smile. Now my slides are gone off. So, yeah, it was you. It was absolutely you. So can I just smile? Thanks, because otherwise my hands come out, you're just going to get one of these photos, and that is not a good look for any sort of content out there. Oh, and now the camera rocks in as well. So they're going to sit, and they're going to brew in your ecosystem, and they're going to decide whether it's a place for them. And then actually that's when you start to nurture. Have you got a nurture strategy? Have you got an outreach way of going, I can see, I've had a lady who's looked at my profile now 5 times on LinkedIn. She's never said a word. So I have sent her a message like, is there anything that you need help with right now? Or would you just like a chat? Nothing salesy, no pressure, because I also had someone connect with me who, what does she do? And I didn't personally like this. It is not that it's the wrong way. She landed in my inbox because we connected. Thanks for the connection. I like asking people what their favourite chocolate is. And I answered, of course, I like chocolate. Why wouldn't I answer? And then she was like, yeah, I like that too. I'm also really good at this. And if you need help with your sales and blah, 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 I was like, no, I'm out. I'm never going to touch chocolate again. Thank you very much. We won't have this conversation. And it put me off. I thought it was too quick, too soon. Nurture me. I know what you're doing, but still do it in the nice way. It's a bit like, and Donald Miller says this as well, it's about going out for a date. You never ask someone to marry you on the first date. If you do, it might be slightly weird. You might know that person's going to be your other half forever and you're going to walk off into the sunset, but you don't say it out loud. Not yet. You go on another date. That's what you ask for. And that's how we need to nurture our audience as well. It's like, what would you like next? Would you like a chat? Would you like a Zoom? Would you like this? Here's a PDF I've created. Here's educational content. Here's a link to that. It's why it does work. And this does work anywhere. This isn't just for social media. This is in your sales pages, on your website. If you haven't spoken about your ideal client story on your website and their pain points and their frustrations and really seeing what that 98th problem was, and actually as you go through the list, as you get to sort of 70 and above, you're getting into the deep stuff. You're getting into the heavy stuff, and that's actually where that 2:17 a.m. problem really does sit. It's a long, laborious task. Get AI to help you. Talk to it, ask it what your ideal client persona is in that sort of way. And that's when you get really deep. And actually we need to get deep. We love connection and we love story and we love it when someone tells our own. How many times do you like to stop when you hear something has happened like to someone and you're like, oh yeah, that's happened to me? Or you're networking and you gravitate and magically find in a conversation the one thread that links you to that person, whether it be, oh, I'm a toddler mum, oh, I have cats, oh, I'm a military wife as well. You find that one thing that you have in common. So it does work anywhere. LinkedIn, Instagram, sales pages, emails, thought leadership, I do love that word. Team communication, do you want to be a thought leader? Do you want to be that person in their space who's saying what no one else is saying? Being a bit disruptive. Yes, I did bring the day's theme into the conversation. You want to be a little bit disruptive. You want to say, you know, what should you say that no one else is saying in your space? I'm saying, you know, as a content, you know, I used to be a copywriter. Oh, with AI, do we need them? You can still sound bland and generic if you don't do the human foundations, and that's kind of like the crux of my brand. I will throw that in. But you know, do you need expensive copywriters anymore? No. Right, I have got a mini activity for you. You're going to love me for it. You don't have to write it on a full. You don't have to share. You can share with the person next to you. It's only going to be 2-3 minutes. Because what? Can I have a time check, please?
5 to 4.
Right, lovely. Thank you. So I'm finishing at 10 past, I think. So, the mirror moment. Can you think or write of a story that your ideal client will see themselves in? So it's a moment, sorry, it's really small text, a moment something went wrong or felt frustrating around what you do, what the frustration really meant underneath, and what your ideal client actually wishes were different. Now, the story that I always come back to on this, because I deal with voice and found a voice and found a story, is I had an ex-boyfriend who once told me to stop singing because I sounded like a Disney princess. In what world is that a bad thing? I mean, the birds don't flock to me and they don't sit on my hands and they do not help me get dressed and they don't do the dishes, which is real annoying. But he was basically telling me that I shouldn't be myself. And that was the story I told in that piece, because actually in business we have to be ourselves, we can't be anything else. And actually, where are you not being your authentic self because you feel you're performing for an algorithm, you're performing for an audience, or you're being that CEO named Brian from the 1990s, because that is what we thought we all have to sound like in business. We don't. Who set the rule book on what we have to sound like in business? You should sound like yourselves. So that's the story I told. What would you tell? Think about what it is you do. I know this is probably hard if you've got the 99 problems to go through and you haven't done those yet, but what story could you tell that you've been through that actually is a mirror moment for your ideal client? It might be the reason you started the business. It might be the reason you started that learning pathway, or you went back to uni to study something because you knew that was, what was it? What was that deep core? And actually that might be, this mirror moment might be your main thread that you start talking about. And the next time somebody asks you, oh, what is it you do you have to start with what you do, or could you start with why you do it? If it feels uncomfortable to go in there, oh, well, I help blah, blah, blah. It feels sometimes icky to say, well, actually, the reason I do what I do is because. And it's a conversation piece. It starts the conversation. It starts the connection straight away. So what would be your mirror moment? I'll just give you a few more seconds on this, because I have got a second one. And if anyone would like to share or ask questions, this is the time. I want to finish a little bit early because I'd like to answer questions if you have any.
I don't mind sharing mine, I will say. I'm scared. So I am a mortgage broker and I have two sort of sides to it. I have a limited company director side, whereby I focus on keeping my clients tax efficient and secure in their home. But the other side I have is older first-time buyers, because I've lost 2 houses and I fell off the ladder twice.
Have you ever shared that story?
Yes.
Okay.
I made a podcast.
Okay, that should be on your website.
It should be on my website, but
Should be your hero journey, because you shouldn't have to lose your home.
yeah, absolutely. So like my thing is helping those falling off the ladder and getting back on the ladder and building your security. Because I've been there, I've slept in my car, I've slept in hotels.
Have you shared that?
Probably, just some people.
That is wow.
That's, to me, that's why I'm so passionate. Just because you may not be in your 20s or 30s, that doesn't mean you can't buy your home. That's my story.
Well, that's your why as well, I think, if we were to dig deep. I mean, that is amazing. And a lot of people have this idea that actually, but it's just ordinary to me. To me, that's extraordinary. And that needs to be shared, because actually people will see that. And even if they haven't experienced it, like, wow, that's amazing. You have a passion, and that passion is your connection, and that is your story. And you might unwittingly be telling someone else's story or speaking their fears. So immediately you are far removed from any other mortgage broker, because they don't know how it feels. Remember that feeling element. And I think that's really powerful. Please go away and think about how you might be able to explore that in probably even your website. This isn't just a one and done LinkedIn post. It's something that needs to keep on coming out. It is one of those mirror moments, or something that people can really connect to. That's amazing to me. Well,
you're telling that you're only connecting with me as that older person, because we're looking at remortgaging, and because I'm over 55, I'm struggling to get that mortgage because of the length of term that you have.
and you've got a client.
So there's
my oldest first time buyer is 67, so you've got fairly.
And there's a post in that. Write that down, right? Have you ever done a post on that? This is session. Let's do a session now. That needs to be a post. Your oldest or something. Your oldest client, first time buyer, is 67, because it absolutely shifts the narrative of what we've been told. Is, I know that first time buyers are getting older because young people can't get on, but we focus on the young people not being able to get on the ladder, not what's happening at the other end of the scale. And actually, that's a really, really important thing to share. Thank you for sharing that. Has anyone else got anything they want to share?
I'm at the other end of the scale.
Yeah?
We're engineers. So like we do renewable energy, we do solar panels, we do CHP, we do the only thing that really our business does, apart from, we can do the carbon thing, but that's sort of slightly, people have got opinions about that anyway. Ours is all down to money. And so it's a sort of less emotional thing, although it's very functional in a business.
Money's very emotional. I would say money is probably one of the emotional things. It's like, I need to feel emotion to part with it. This is my hard-earned money, and why am I giving it you? So actually, what can you tap into? Because it isn't money at the core, it's what that money buys. Am I buying into a greener planet? Yes, we've got solar panels for that very reason, which was kick-started by actually us having a daughter. Like, we want to do our bit now. We need to make sure that, are there elements in that? What's your 2 a.m. ideal client thought? Like, oh my God, am I going to leave this planet in a better place than I found it for my children, my grandchildren? What can I do now? Greener energy. Is there something in that story? And I know it sounds so easy for me to say because I do this.
I think I was having a chat with a client the other day, and we were saying it's not necessarily, people are more cautious of what they're spending their money on now, and I think they're more selective and they want value for money, and that doesn't necessarily mean they go for the cheapest, they just want to know that they're getting what they pay for. So I think if they do have that trust in you, like you were saying with the brand, if they have that trust in you, they're more likely that they may even choose someone like you over a cheaper company.
Or a more expensive one.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think people after COVID are a lot more selective, and we do
100%.
research a lot more on who we're going to. So I do think it's that, like you say,
it's connection. If I feel a connection with you and your brand, and I feel that and there's things about you, and I find that you're a girl dad or something like that, I'm like, oh my God, he's a decent guy. Already those are a girl dad. If you've got daughters, have you?
Yeah,
you got two. You're a double girl dad, even better. Like, can you share that? Because as daft as it sounds, we all have cognitive bias in there. And I see you as a girl dad. I'm a girl mum, and my husband is a girl dad. And it's just that idea of, right, I kind of trust you even more because you know what it's like to have a daughter. So you're a good guy.
Conversations as well. We've just had air heat source pump.
Yeah.
And he went with the person he connected best with, not with cost. I mean, cost was in there, or he had to be on price range, but keep up with who you connected with.
There you go. Ah, I love that you're actually proving my points. Yes, I don't have to do the work.
I'll be pretty different. I've got 2 small children, and that's in my thought process around.
There you go.
We're not domestic. If we was going to talk to somebody, I get that we're talking sort of there'll be a buying group, a purchasing, procurement process. So it's not.
But they're still human beings.
They are.
Although they like to try and remove a lot of that.
Now, in the talk you have face-to-face, you've probably done 60% of the selling if you've already done the emotion bit online, in the digital comms, all of that, and maybe the face-to-face chat is then just about the logos part, just about the logic, because you've already done the ethos and pathos work up front, and therefore you go in for the sale. So actually maybe it's just more about the surrounding content that maybe has a little bit of an emotional draw in. But if you're B2B, not B2C, maybe, but the heads of these companies are still human, and they still might be girl dads, and they still might make that decision based on how they feel. And it's just something to draw into, something to think about. It hasn't got to be something that you've got to make a full marketing campaign around, but it is a consideration. It's how we connect. Right, I'm not going to do the second one, but feel free to take a photo if you'd like, and you can do it later. The one about is your values, and I gave the one about kindness, just something that might happen. And again, it just, whether you sponsor the under 12 girls football or something like that because your daughters are passionate about football, that would be a post. It doesn't have to be everything, and you don't have to post about what you've had for tea and all that. There's a strategy around it, which is all around, if I can go back to that element there. Do you want to come up, Poppy?
Just started.
No, I'm coming to the end, but you're welcome to sit down. Okay. Right, so what makes this possible? It's about knowing your story. When you know their story and your story, you get that clarity, confidence and consistency in what it is you're going to post. It doesn't feel like it's going to be, what am I going to post about today? If you've got a string of values, I bet you could tell 20 stories about one single value that you hold. So you've actually got this waterfall of ideas that are coming. When you've got 99 problems that your client is facing, you can therefore do that self-identifying content, the belief shift content. You can also look at the mirror moments that you can share for them. Now, do you not feel like you need to be everywhere? Now, this is probably like my biggest text slide. And it won't move anyway, so there we go. Your message has a spine, and you don't have to spin plates anymore. Your story is that spine, and their story is that spine. It's the fusion of both of them together. You don't have to feel guilty for not doing enough on whether it's social media or that content or that outreach. You stop second guessing every post, the line, the caption. Content might not feel chaotic. You don't need to be a full-time content creator. Who feels like they have to be creating content all the time? Feels like it, yeah. The bridge to AI. I love AI. It is absolutely something we need to. AI is the bullet train for us as small businesses. And if people keep on saying, don't like AI, I'm not going to get on it. I'm like, right. We're in a world now where these, we could walk to London, and I would still be myself when I got to London, but I would have bleeding feet and I'd be exhausted and I'd be good for nothing. Or I could get the train, I could do some work on the train and I'd still be myself when I got off and be able to do twice as much. So AI is an amazing tool. The only thing that makes it generic, bland, meh, and people hate it is because they haven't done the human foundations first. They're using it, I won't say incorrectly, they're not using it to its full advantage. And you don't need to remember any of this from this talk today. You don't need to memorize the content types, you don't need to pick perfect frameworks, you don't need to become a full-time content creator. You just need a tool that holds your story, your client's story, and their problems and where they're going. Now then, AI is not the enemy. I do apologize for my slides. But when you're AI, and you pick an AI and you train it on your human voice, what is my voice? I had someone say to me today, I don't know what I should sound like. I'm like, forget the word should. Don't get that out of your vocabulary. Be you. And if people are like, oh, but I should sound a certain way. Again, corporate CEO from Brian, 1990s. No. We don't do that anymore. That is not the business of the world anymore. We can be ourselves, and that's what people hopefully buy into. Your lived experience, your story, your values, your client psychology, their story, their A to B moment, your story. And actually, when you use AI with those in place, it amplifies it. And it isn't chaotic. The reason it's chaotic is because everybody sounds the same right now, because AI, you've had the most amazing talk, I'm sure he said, scours the internet for the information that you want, but none of it is yours. But when it's your lived experience and your story, no one can argue that, no one can compete with that, no one can argue that you don't think that. And if you're not the best at phrasing it and you've got red pen syndrome for a really bad English teacher, I'm so sorry about those, who made you feel that you couldn't write, of course you're going to feel a little bit like people are going to judge me. You had one, didn't you?
It's a godsend because I'm dyslexic. So,
Isn't it?
The things I have done since having AI, I've been on it like 2.5 years, whatever it is, 2 years. And I need to tweak my story, which is why I've come to see and listen to you today. But
You don't need to tweak your story, you just need to find it.
yes, but it is, from AI side of you, you've got to tweak how it presents, you've got to train the AI. And that's what I'm saying, and listening to you and the guy before, I've had to teach it my brand, I've had to teach it, I'm a counsellor, so I've had to teach it what's acceptable, what isn't, what it's hallucinating, so I've got to go and check that it's right.
Yeah.
But I could have done any of that, being dyslexic, on there, because...
Or it would have taken you a lot longer and you'd have been walking to London with bleeding feet. Who wants that? Nobody wants that. But
with all this, it's amazing.
It's-
If you can use it correctly.
as Daniel Priestley calls it, we're in like a digital revolution right now. You know, when you look at what the Industrial Revolution did for us, and now we're in that digital wave, and so many people will be like, we don't want to let go of the horse and cart. It's like, but the car is amazing. And it's just making sure that you are you, 20% you up front. AI will do 60% of the heavy lifting, but please make sure that it's right. And this is why you can't I couldn't just go and be like a wellness counsellor tomorrow because AI is going to help me do it. I haven't got the background or the credentials, and it's that ethos that comes in, but also the logic side. Well, what does she have to back that up? Or she was an English teacher and a journalist, so she does probably know a little bit about what she's talking about. Now, I have it. This is not a pitch, it's an invitation just to tell you a little bit about what I do. Is that all right? May I do that? So, I have got something called the Story-Led Studio, which has not launched yet, but I have a wait list. And what I have done is I have created an AI with all of my brain in the back. And what we do, and what you can do, is put your brain in the front. I have a much more concise model, which I work with founders on, and I do the front end. But this is a smaller option. This is not the full package. I didn't want to assume that anyone wasn't that founder who needs to extract their voice and have people writing for them. But this is something that you can have a look at my website launch today, which I'm really happy with. So you can have a look at those at the end. So it's clear prompts, good questions that will unlock a little bit of your story. So you are still writing like you, the story framework. So this is my IP. This is what I'm sharing. The AI knows how to tell a good story, but you need to feed it with what the story should be and let it know what it is you want to state. Consistency will help you with that, so you don't feel like you have to be a full-time content creator. A place to practice your voice as well, to see what that is, not what it should sound like, what it is. And it's AI supported in human truth, and that is kind of the line I am taking. We have to embrace the technology that we have. We are time poor business owners, and how are we going to be a success for our clients and ourselves, and money is not the be all and end all. We have purpose. I've heard about yours today, which is amazing. But it would help to continue that business if we could get more clients. So having more content out there is going to help them understand our why, what we do, and bring them into that messaging ecosystem. So you can join the waitlist. There's me with some jazz hands. I have to love a bit of theatre. I am an Amdram child, I have to say. Even my name is from a musical, Oklahoma, if any of you know that one. So please grab the QR code and you can join the waitlist. There is a little quiz actually for you to do. It's not just join the waitlist, it's a little quiz to see what sort of voice you have right now. I'll leave that on there for a minute. Has everyone got that? I can come back to that. So as an early member, you'll get the early access, the early pricing, and it's a space to grow, and it's something that, it continues to evolve as well. So it'd be nice to sort of see how that goes. That is a really cheesy photo in yellow again. So your story is your strongest advantage, and it is going to be the thing that sets you apart from your competitors, because only you can tell it. You haven't got to underprice, outprice, you haven't got to over-deliver, you can just be yourself. And that is a really comforting thought, to know that just by being ourselves, actually, and communicating it in a way that is going to be attractive to people, obviously, and understanding their stories, that this is where we are going to get our clients. So Q&A, and if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn and you want to have a look at my newly launched website, there are some other QR codes there. So thank you very much for coming and listening to me today. It really has been lovely. Thank you for sharing as well. That's made it for me. Do you have any questions? And am I really overrun? Is it 10 past? Right, I think, yeah, I'll, that's at the time, isn't it? There we go, okay, cool. Any questions very quickly, or you can catch me, I'm out and about. I'm the main stage host, so you'll see me in my yellow just up and down, so you can come and grab me if you want an aside. But other than that, thank you so much for being here, really appreciate it.